She wants to improve. I'm not getting any better. I was better 4 years ago. But every year, when she looks at her stat sheets, every year she's gotten better. All-American on 4 out of 5 this year. All-American on beam with an 8.55, bars with an 8.88, floor with an 8.77, and all-around with an 8.67. And just one of the hardest working kids. She would leave at 7:30 every night if I'd stay. You know, and I wouldn't stay. I have a life too. Not much of one in September and October. All-American, 4 out of 5. I'll move this way so I'm not standing in front of her. Butterscotch. Butterscotch's goal was just to compete everything this year. She's one of those who also was trying to earn spots over the last couple of years and always had a varsity spot, but never in the all-around consistently, and that was her goal this year. Well, something clicked in Butterscotch this year. Not only did she reach her goal of competing all-around, but she did phenomenal things. I think she figured something out this year, and I'm not sure what it was. You go hard, you stay tight. She's always believed in herself and always had a good attitude, but did phenomenal things this year. Made All-American on 3. Average on bars, 8.72. Average on beam, 8.58. And in the all-around, 8.53. Way to go, Butter. And last one, by the way, these are alphabetical order. I go juniors in alphabetical order through the seniors. It was the only way I could decide to do it, so bear with me. I'm going to continue that. Jill started slow this year, was very discouraged in herself, but never ever gave in. Worked harder, harder, harder. We finally changed some things around in a couple of routines that made her mad, made her work even harder because she wanted to get back to the old routine. Just did some phenomenal things. Had the highest all-around score of her life at the district meet this year when it counted. I mean, the one that we talk about, there's only one that counts, and that's districts. I think had the highest all-around score of the last 2 meets of the year. Made All-American again on 4 out of 5, 8.69 on bars, 8.83 on beam, 8.81 on floor, and 8.61 in the all-around. Good, okay? Without Kelly and Kim and without Amber there, of course, we need Trina too. She couldn't make it, but she hung right in there and supported us all season. Without all these kids, we wouldn't be where we're at. Okay? Yes, even Michelle. We could not have had all those films without Michelle. We wouldn't have the spirit without Michelle. I wouldn't get all those looks without Michelle. But, you know, we are a team, and I think you guys can see that and how much fun these guys have together. You know, we go out and have yogurt together a couple times during the season and pizza and things, and that's fun, and they're very appreciative, and they just get along so great. It's so fun to see, and we are a team. And that's, I think, the best part about this sport is I like the team part. Used to be individuals, used to be, you know, I wanted to win the state championship. I wanted to do all that stuff for the kids, and I wanted to be just the best they could be. Well, I still want that, but go about it a completely different way, and these guys sure have shown me that it works, and it's all very, very worthwhile and worth the time. Okay. Special team awards. These are awards that are voted on by the girls. This year, again, as always, we had, again, most improved, most inspirational, and most valuable gymnast. I had more people receive votes for all these awards than ever before. They were very spread out. You can tell the girls think about each other and believe everybody on the team is valuable and inspirational and improved. I think as you go across the team, there isn't a person here you couldn't say hasn't improved tremendously throughout this year and throughout the 4 years. Although sometimes it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere, we really, really are. And if you look at score sheets, you'll see it. Now I say don't worry about the scores, but scores do prove it. We did get better throughout the year. So anybody could win any of these awards in my mind. And for the first time this year, we had ties on a couple of the awards. I think I might have mentioned that to a few of you. We had ties on both our most improved and most inspirational gymnasts. And again, I think I could go with anybody on these, but the girls vote for them. I think they did a super job of picking those out. And if we're talking Garrett, let's get to the awards. We have some very nice awards here, done by Tim Daly at TNR Specialties, ex-Thompson Valley athlete and student. And this year's Most Improved Gymnast Award, drum roll, goes to these two, Beth Trebethick and Butterscotch McCauley. Show them your plaques. These guys have done a fabulous, fabulous job. And if you looked at the score sheets they've had over the last 3 and 4 years, you would be amazed at the improvement they've done. Butterscotch hit all new highs in her life in gymnastics. I think Beth did in high school gymnastics. Just did some phenomenal things, scored her first 9s. Both of these guys scored their first 9s in high school competition this year. Just did a spectacular job. Our most improved gymnast of the year. Next one. Most inspirational. Once again, every one of these guys inspires me to be the best I can be, because they're always trying to be the best they can be. There isn't one of them who doesn't give everything they got when they're in the gym. I don't know if it's for them, if it's for their parents, if it's for me. I think it's a combination of what they do it for. They've been raised with positive attitudes and support and encouragement, but I think the support is what it's about, and these guys are very, very supportive of each other. After our first meet of the year, which always is a tough one, I think you'll notice the spirit level of our team jumped a notch and a half. We've talked about how, I don't care how we do, all right, if you have a bad event or we have a bad meet, but you always hold your head up high, you remain positive, you get excited for your teammates. And I'll tell you what, every one of these guys gets excited for their teammates. They held their heads high, and when we leave gyms, coaches and parents of other teams always come to me and tell me what a great bunch of girls they are, how much they've improved, how positive they are, how good they look out there, how happy they look, and that is a really, really big part of this. If we can teach them anything out of here, it's not gymnastics. It's what it's all about in life, and being assertive and positive and enthusiastic and supportive of the people around you. And they are the very, very most supportive group. When one person is down, there's always somebody over there helping them out. When somebody's having emotional problems or skill problems and trying to take that next step up, there's always somebody there to support them, plus they support each other and they push themselves, and just phenomenal inspiration to me. This year's most inspirational, again, happens to be a tie. I think there were probably 4 girls who got votes here. They're all inspirational. Getting me excited now, aren't we? And I'm going to talk a little more. Both of these individuals who won the award are really the epitome of team spirit and enthusiasm. And you never see them not cheering. You always see them clapping. You always see them patting each other on the back, high-fiving. You always see them cheering each other on. And when it comes time to in the gym and we're vaulting, it's always these two who are the first ones clapping and trying to pump them up to run down the runway. And this year's most inspirational gymnasts go to Leanne Bakel and Butterscotch McCauley. Can you just
Leanne,
watch?
why don't
But they're just an inspiration. If
Wait a
I
minute,
could
Garrett,
have
stay there
one kid like this on the team every year, I would be the luckiest guy in the world. Because these are two of the most inspirational, team-spirited, team players, hard workers you can ask for. I love them both. Way to go, ladies. Again, most valuable. Can be kind of deceiving. I've had many unusual things happen over the years with this award. From the obvious most valuable, almost always getting it, to not always the most obvious, most valuable receiving it. This year, 4 different gymnasts received votes for this. They all are valuable to me. This young lady was by far, last year, I think 9 out of 11 meets, the highest all-around score in a team. This year, not quite there every meet or early in the season, but as we've elaborated on earlier, as you're starting to figure it out, she won the team all around the last 2 meets of the year when it counted. This young lady struggled all year to become the best she could be, and she peaked at the right times and was a real team leader and very valuable to everybody on this team and myself. And I would like to present the most valuable to Jill Shearer.
All right.
Again, as voted on by her teammates, which is one of the most important things. Most valuable gymnast. Way to go, Jill. Okay. How am I doing? Am I in the 3rd rotation yet?
Oh, well, the whole meet's over, actually.
That means it's time to move equipment.
I still have to do work.
That's another reason I like these seniors. When it comes to moving equipment, it's taken us until this year for this group to develop a rapport with their fellow peers throughout the school, all right, to get other people to help us move equipment. The last good group I had was when Desi Fitch was a senior, and that was unfortunately a long time ago. You know, I judge with the girl right now. She's got a baby, and and all this stuff. Desi was great. Comes time for a gymnastics meet, she goes out in the cafeteria at the end of the day, rounds up every boy who's out there and says, "You come with me, we're moving equipment." And they don't turn her down. Well, we had some this year who did the same thing. These seniors make a big difference in moving equipment. And I don't have to do it for a while, until Judy calls me. Okay, I've got a number of different things here. I'm starting, again, from the youngest and moving my way up. Okay, and I'd like Amber to stand up here with me, please.
Yeah.
Okay. And I gotta make you stand up here with me a little bit and get a little bit embarrassed and move their head and tell stories about them. I'll try not to embarrass anybody too bad. But Amber, I first saw her starting working at the club about a year ago. And I think Judy pointed her out to me and says, "There's one's going to be at Thompson Valley next year." And she was in a beginner class at the club, I think, or an intermediate class, and started working and started getting better, and went to the high school group this summer and started working and again getting better. And she's got a competitive group here, and she doesn't have much experience here, but she's done a phenomenal job. The one funny story I think I told her, or I can tell about her, is maybe I shouldn't tell funny stories about her mom.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
If you do it for all of us.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fair if I
Let's do
go.
our Amber's first.
Okay. And Amber only competed on Beam this year and only competed as junior varsity, but if you look at her scores, also went up every meet she competed. Also, what you don't realize, she also competed in the gym. Every time we do routines, she competed. Now this year, beam was the only thing she had a routine on. We're hoping next year she gets back into the club. We get her into more events, but she improved. The one skill I like to talk about is the split lead. All right, Amber's famous split lead. And I asked Amber one question. I go, "It looks good, Amber, except for the one skill it takes you the entire beam. You run for 16 feet to do one skill, and then jump off." But that's what she did originally. But by the end of the season, she wasn't running the whole length of the beam. She was just that. She had bigger splits, higher leaps, and was staying on at the end of the season. And as these guys are an inspiration, listened to them, worked with them, watched them, emulated them, and did better. And I think the last routine we judged in practice was probably one of your highest scores that I judged in practice, and just improved all year. Now Amber competed junior varsity this year. I'm hoping she'll be able to be on that starting varsity team this year. But I'm very proud of this young lady, and she's worked real hard and stuck in there. It's very hard to stick in there when you're not competing in those varsity spots, and you see all these kids with so much more experience in front of you. But she hung right in there, and she worked hard and improved, and that's what it's all about. And I hope she learned a lot, and I hope she gets back into the club. And congratulations, Amber. Way to go. Our practice starts December, what, 1st?
They're already back.
Yeah, I know. Okay, next one online. Michelle, get up here. Boy, do we need her back next year or what?
We need her back. And
Her backpack.
And we need her back, absolutely.
She could wear black too.
This is an official. This is an official. I'm going to show you this. The varsity letter winners who have earned them before get, of course, their bar. Okay? And if they've lost your little gymnast, which sometimes happens, let me know and I'll get you one. But this year, Michelle gets a special pin. It says MGR on it. We should have a little video camera above it or something like that, all right? We're hanging in. I think she was one of our best video camera runners from all the ones I've seen. And, even though her back was hurt, she still was in there moving mats and was definitely a member of this team and a big part of this team. And she's been here for 2 years before. This is her 3rd year, and we want her back for the 4th year. And it's very important that you stuck with us, and I'm very happy to have, and I can't wait till you get back. All right? She keeps telling me December she's going back to the club, and she'll be working on it. January now? Okay, well, that's all right. You take it slow. I don't want you to push too much and get hurt. Hey, all I hear is by summer and by next season, we want you back, and you're going to be a very important part of this team, and you still were this year. Congratulations. That's hard to do what she did. Just watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody's been injured, and the last pass, unfortunately, this girl, without a doubt, would have been a starting varsity member. Was an inspiration to us all because she kept saying, "I'm going to be back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Look at this. Look at that." Then she had to have the surgery, but hung right in there. The girls stood by her. She stood by the girls. Was definitely a important part of this team and an inspiration for all of us to do that much better. I mean, when you see a teammate go down, it hurts. It hurts bad. And these guys hurt, and I hurt, and it's everything I could do to get to the hospital and not lose it and keep her up. The one story I'll tell about her, I forgot to tell a story about Michelle.
Okay.
Oh, we want to hear it.
In the hospital, after they had x-rayed her arm and checked everything out, and finally gave her a shot of some painkillers, and she's sitting there and she's starting to go. At least she stopped screaming. An hour or two later, at least she stopped hollering, and I'm sitting there and holding her hand and she's kind of, and she looks up and she goes, I made my full, didn't I? And I go, you sure did, and you did a heck of a job too. Alright? And then she kind of goes back off again. And then we carried her to the car and got her home, but this is what you call an honorary letter. It is a real letter. You have a letter jacket and letter already, right? That's good. And she gets this year the little gymnast pin and the certificate for being in. It's a real letter, but I'm calling it an honorary letter because you would have been a starting member of this varsity team. You hung right in there with us. You've been a tremendous inspiration to everybody here. Hang in there. We're going to come see you dive. We want you to do fabulous in diving. And you realize that, and I forgot to tell you this, about November, December last year, Tom Houston goes, you know any gymnasts who might be into diving? And I said, well, I'm not sure. Most of them are pretty busy doing this and that. I said, but I got this one who's talking about coming out for gymnastics who'd probably be a pretty good diver. Well, here she is this year. She's got potential of being right up there in the top in the state. She gets healthy, and I'll be there. I know that. I'm sure some of these guys will be there to see you.
I might be there.
Anyhow, Trina, congratulations. Thanks for sticking in there with us. We love you. Okay, now to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 varsity competitors from the year. Again, we will go alphabetical by grade. And I'm going to start with Kim DeWeese. Come on up here, Kim.
By grade here?
Oh, I guess I'm not going by grade. I blew it. I'm sorry. I blew it. Yes. Besides the 4.0, grade point average. Academic award. A couple years now, huh? And I apologize about the grade thing. It's the second year I look at it that way, I guess. I'm gonna tell a funny story right off the bat. You know what it is. Kim is tough. Man, she worked. That night, after being bruised and scraped and through a half hour of tears, she got back up on the beam and did the skill again that night. And that's tough. That's how tough these guys are. Kim, you got your letter last year, right? I just always gotta ask these questions. Because I gotta fill these packets up with all the right stuff. Of course, this year you get your bar and your certificate.
Yay.
And if anybody wants to have their little gymnast break, I grabbed a whole bunch of them and put them in my drawer in case you need them. And not only along with the certificates, but also a state from actually Pepsi and the High School Activities Association puts these out. And this is for competing at the state championships. Get that certificate. And I'll tell you what, Kim, you're an outstanding student and a wonderful team member. You're a wonderful young lady to coach, and I'm looking for great things out of you next year. Yeah. All right? And no other sports this year, right? Tennis. Okay, that's all right. Tennis is easy on the body. We'll take that. All right? And you're going to get into that gym, and we're going to find phenomenal things out of you. Your goal was to score 8s this year on something, and you sure did. It made a big difference. And did it at the meets again when it counted. Just steadily all year got better and better and better. I still haven't figured out how these guys can never keep their feet up on a straddle back in practice, but when it comes to competition, Kim did it. Kelly, come on up here. Again, I remember Kelly's goals at the beginning of the season. She